All right, so from our graph from earlier, or from our example from earlier, we're now going to draw the graph. So remember, please, that we already talked about what our vertical asymptote was. The vertical asymptote, remember there were two of them, and they were at x equals 1 and x equals -1. The horizontal asymptote, again, we did this earlier, was case 1, because the degrees were the same. So the horizontal asymptote was at y equals 1, because we go 1 divided by 1. We also said that the y-intercept, when we plug in 0 for our x's, was 6. And the x-intercept, when we plugged in 0 for y, gave us two answers, and it was x equals 3 and x equals -2. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw this graph with our information. So let's always start by putting everything you know on the graph. So first of all, I know I have vertical asymptotes at 1 and -1. So you guys, please draw this. So I have vertical asymptotes at 1 and at -1. I also know that I have a horizontal asymptote where y equals 1. So I have a horizontal asymptote where y equals 1. I have a y-intercept at 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to put a 6 up here. So y-intercept at 6. And I have x-intercepts at 3. Was it 3 or was it -3?
3.
Positive 3, thank you. So 1, 2, 3. And at -2. So I have x-intercepts at 3 and at -2. Okay. We have to finish this off then with our two sentences. So first of all, graphs hug asymptotes. And second of all, these guys are functions, which means they can't be on top of each other, because then it would not pass the vertical line test. So all you really have to do, you guys, is look at your point and make it hug the asymptote. So here I can see that this line would hug the asymptote in both directions, and this side would also hug the asymptote in both directions. So it has to hit your points, and then it has to hug your asymptote. I know there's going to be nothing up top here, or here, in these two corners. The reason there's going to be nothing is because if there was something there, it would not be a function anymore. So I'm going to put nothing on top there, because my point was down here. Now in this middle section, I'm going to have something that's going to hug my asymptotes, but both sides are going to hug going up. Why can't it hug going down? Because it would hit the horizontal, right? So it's going to hug going up, and it would just continue on going up forever. So that's what it would have. So let's try another example here. We are going to sketch the graph. Again, to sketch the graph, you need your asymptotes and your intercepts. Let's find those first. So to find your vertical asymptote, we set the denominator equal to 0. So 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. And when I factor that, I get x minus 4 and x plus 2.
You just like fast forward that.
Which gives me x equals 4 for one of my vertical asymptotes, and x equals -2 for the other vertical asymptote. So again, factor it, and you'd find your vertical asymptote values. There's two of them because the denominator is squared.
So even if it was like x,
Then let's look to our horizontal asymptote. Which case is this? Case 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Case 1, because the top power is smaller than the bottom power. So if it's case 1,
Y 0.
that means y equals 0, or it's the x-axis. So yes, horizontal asymptote is case 1. Then let's find the y-intercept. The y-intercept, we set x to 0.
so that's
So we get
4 over -2.
2 times 0 minus 4 over 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8, which, yes, everything is basically gone except the minus 4 and the minus 8. So we have a y-intercept of 1/2, positive 1/2, because -4 divided by -8. Okay, and then the final part we need is our x-intercept. How do you find an x-intercept?
Y 0.
Set the y to 0. So here we have 0 equals 2x minus 4 over x squared minus 2x minus 8. First, we start by getting rid of the denominator. How do I get rid of it? Multiply it out. When I multiply it out, it's multiplied by 0, so it's going to be gone. So we have 0 equals 2x minus 4. Now just figure it out. So I'm going to add the 4 over and then divide by the 2. So we get x equals 2 for my x-intercept. So I have an x-intercept, a y-intercept, a horizontal asymptote, and 2 vertical asymptotes.